How you going? I'm Terence and welcome back to Rusted Iron Ranch. Today we're going to do a little bit of a update video on the Inter. So, been doing a little bit of work in this shed, which I haven't been able to use before. My mate Adrian from Exposed Electrical Services came in and fitted these lights. So we've got lights in here so I can actually work mainly at night, but it also helps during the day. It's really bright in here before I couldn't see a thing. So, update. Wheels off. I've still got one on the other side, which I'll probably do on camera for you. Wheels off, drums off, wheel cylinders off. They were all stuffed. I thought they were okay, but they weren't. Every single one of them was leaking. And either seized, leaking or seized. But something was working. One of them was working somewhere, probably the leaking ones. And what else? So I've got the wheel cylinders. So I used Bendigo brake and clutch, were really good. They gave me the wheel cylinders over the counter, which was really handy. Didn't have to order them in. And I also got the master cylinder. Water on it. The master cylinder's been rebuilt. That cost me $85, which I thought was a bargain. So it's had a kit go through it. They sandblasted all the rest of it. So I've got to fit that. Might fit that today too, or at least fit it up and put it back to the pedal. That might be a good little thing to get off the list today. So we've got our master cylinder. We've got our wheel cylinders. We've got bearings. I've got the both inner and outer taper roller bearings for the rear axle, plus the seals. So all in here, we've got Timken bearings, all made in the USA, and brand new hub seals. The hub seal on this side was really bad, and the whole inside of the drum was coated in grease from the wheel bearings, and it was all over the backing plate. So I've pressure washed these out in the shed. Kind of helps when I don't have anything else in this shed. So I've pressure washed these out, I've brake cleaned, I've got all the springs lubed up, I've got the adjuster working down the bottom. So I might put this side back together today. I might start by actually taking off the other side. And I'll fit the rest of the wheel cylinders. I'm not ready to hook lines up yet. I'd just like to get the drums back on the front, because the hub stays on, but the drum back on the front, and the drum and hub back on the back today if I can, because then I can start taking off mud guards and I can start mocking up the new wheels, which I've got on, and they look pretty awesome. I won't show you them just yet. We'll get this done and then we'll start working on getting the wheels fitted. So I might do a little bit of work off camera, and then I'm going to set you up and we'll take the rear left wheel, drum, hub all off, and we'll have a look at what that side looks like. But yeah, all the other ones I've cleaned the front and everything. But yeah, I think we'll start with there. So we'll go rear left, and I'll get a bit of work done out the way first off, and then I'll set you up and you can have a look at what we do. The next thing we're going to do is take these bolts off here, and that actually is the axle and drive flange all in one. So once these are off, axle comes all the way out, and you've got the hole that goes through the diff, but then on the outside we've got our nut, our lock ring, our inner nut, and then the outer taper roller bearing, and the whole hub will come up from there. So I'll take these off. Firstly, there's two nuts like this, but that way, and in between there's a lock washer. And what that does is the tab, once you've done up the outer nut, you actually fold the tab from the centre washer over the outer nut, and that means the nut can't undo. So first I've just got to bend that back straight so I can spin the nut off. Alright, I'll just bring you in for a bit of a close-up at the back of the hub. This is what I'll be replacing. I did show you on the other hub just earlier. So that's your inner taper roller bearing. This is the seal. This seal looks like it's failed too. There's a lot of grease and build-up on the brake side of the seal, which isn't good. Both drums look pretty good. Back is the stub. So that's where our outer the two nuts, locking washer, nut washer, outer taper roller was sitting. Then you just have a void where we pack grease in. Our inner taper roller runs on this, and this is where the seal runs. And then it's supposed to hold all your grease and all that this way and stop it from going in here. So I've got new seals to run on there too. And here's our brakes. So I'll be able to take off the handbrake assembly, so that just there's a nut on the back of the backing plate, and then it comes off this way. It means I can get to my wheel cylinder, pull that off. Once that's off, I will lube everything up, make sure it all works. I don't really want to disassemble too much of it. Try and get springs on and off is a real pain. So I'll just make sure everything's working. Pads look really good. But yeah, make sure everything's working, everything's clean. You can see here, there's probably water or something that's come out of that, probably a bit of condensation in the hydraulic side of things, and it's ran down the inside here, so a bit of water. But yeah, so I'll start pulling that apart, and then I'll start degreasing and cleaning it all up, ready for new parts to go on. Alright, I'm gonna punch out the bearings now. So the seal's on the bottom, then there's the inner race and bearing, and here's the outer race. The bearing is already come out, obviously. We took the nuts off. So what I'll use is just mash hammer, and I've got like a bit of soft-ish gal pipe that worked really well last time. I've already done the other one of these, so I'll just take this out, and I'm actually going to then move on to the other wheel and finish that one off first. Bearing and seals dropped out. There's the race. Out of race. Okay, so it's the next day now. I got tied up doing a few other things last night. So now I'm on to prepping the backing plate and swapping the brakes over. So I have pressure washed this, I've degreased it and pressure washed it, just ready to be able to pull stuff off. I've freed up the adjuster down the bottom. So now I'm just going to take the handbrake assembly off. So there's a single bolt that's actually captive here, and there's a nut in the back. That comes off, swings out the way, and then I can undo the two bolts on the back of the wheel cylinder. Pull that off. I can fit my new wheel cylinder back on, put the handbrake back on, and then I can just prep the wheel ready for the hub with new bearings to go back on. So I'll just take this off right now. That's it. Okay, so I've got the handbrake is under the pivot, bolt is undone, swung out the way. I've got the brake line off the back of the wheel cylinder. I've taken the two bolts out the back of the wheel cylinder. So this should be three. These little pistons, make sure you take them too, and we have it there, total. Alright, so I'll just clean that up a little bit more, get ready to put the new one in. Okay, so I've got the master cylinder, sorry, the wheel cylinder off. I've cleaned the hardware, I've cleaned the little, these little piston bits that go on the end of the piston really, the little extensions that then slot in here in the shoes. I've cleaned all them off. I've cleaned off the mounting bolts. So this is ready to go in. So I'm just going to spread the shoes a little bit, line these up. I will say I actually take the boots off and I thread these through the boot first to make sure they actually go through properly. I found that was a little bit easy to do. Alright, so it goes mounting holes up. Alright, it's on. I'll swing the handbrake lever up and then the backing plate and wheel cylinders are ready to go. Alright, there you have it. Now, off camera, I'm going to do a little bit to the brake lines. I need to get the other side made up again because it was damaged. So I might even get this little one here. So I'll just do that off camera. I'll take them off this little split up T-piece, just mounted on the diff. So I'll take that off, take it in the shop, and I'll get two new ones made up. But for the meantime, all my wheel cylinders on the rear axle will be in place, ready for the lines to go back on and be bled. Okay, so I'm ready to put the inner bearing race in. So I've degreased the inside of the hub. This has all been pressure washed. We've pushed our old ones out. Here's the new one. This was the most expensive part of the bearings. This was $90, just the race, just because of the size. Made in America, Timken. So that's how it sits in there, and we've got to knock it down. So I'm just going to carefully get it started. That is all the way in. Alright, next up is our packed bearing. It sits in there like that. Here's our seal, the hub seal, and this purpose of this is to hold the grease inside the hub, and it can't come out the stub, axle, and then into the brake backing plate and your shoes and the drum and all the rest. Okay, that wasn't pretty. That took way too long. Yeah, not my luck. That's gonna leak. Okay, so we're ready to put our hub on. I'm just gonna just loosen the shoes off a little bit, so the drum goes over the top real easy. Everything's good. I brake cleaned all of this, so I've wiped out, brake down and wiped down with a clean rag the shoes. Everything in here is either lubed or cleaned, so we're good to go. I've just got to lift this massive hub onto here and make sure it pushes all the way back on. That's where the seal runs. This is where the inner bearing runs. There's just a void, and then this is where the outer bearing runs. And then our nut, washer, nut, lock washer, nut. So let's get to it. Our packed outer bearing go in. Alright, first one is the washer. Push it like grease into the back of the bearing. First washer, first nut. Now I'm going to do this one up a little bit just to make sure everything's seated and pushed all the way in there. This isn't the. So that's pretty. That's a little bit. So this is a fully floating rear diff. Which just means that the hub sits on its own two bearings rather than the axle sitting on a bearing and the axle doing any of the load bearing. So the axle doesn't sit on the bearing at all, it just slides into the diff and just kind of floats in the centre of the the center of the stub here in that hole, and the way that it actually gets drive to the hub, because the hub just is spinning freely now, is through these bolts, through the drive flange. So these bolts hold the shaft to the hub and then in turn turn the wheel. So a lot stronger than supporting your load and your wheel and your hub off the axle itself. And the good thing is, if for some reason you damage an axle or have to change one, a lot of these vehicles, you don't even have to take the wheel off. You just take your bolts out and just slide the whole axle out, which is really handy. There's our black RTV. That's sitting just obviously in the bearing, it feels like. So it's located, and then I just have to slightly turn into the spline, and then that's it. Okay, so we've got our rear diff done. So we've got bearings, wheel bearings and wheel cylinders are done, and the brake components are all freed up and ready to go. Now off camera, I will replace the rear lines just from the T-piece. The other one was damaged when I took it off, so I need to get another one made of them. But yeah, apart from that, there's the rear axle done. I will also change the diff oils. So the next time we see the Inter, we will have a look at the front axle. So I'm going to take the hub apart, and I'll grab some new bearings for it. We'll put new bearings in the hub, a little bit different design. The drum just comes off over the top of the hub on the front. It's a Dana 44 axle. And so it was a lot easier, so the hub can actually stay intact. But while I'm here, I might as well do them. Okay, well, that's probably it for today. And yeah, if you like the video, be sure to like. And if you want to see more, subscribe. Yeah, my name's Terence. This has been Rusted Iron Ranch. Thanks for watching.